Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket trailers, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, traitors that star-spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land under the brave, and the home of the brave.
Don't be afraid, this is a low fat, and you are listening to HonestAnswerRadio.com. Now, where is the egg roll you guys promised me?
The views and opinions expressed on the Honest Answer Radio show are the opinions of Honest Answer Media and no one else. If you're hearing a syndicated broadcast of this show, don't hold it against the broadcaster. Rather, congratulate them on their openness, tolerance, and respect for the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America. Thank you very much.
The sky is falling and it's breaking through. The walls are splitting, clean in two. It's coming down no matter what we do, but we can make things better. Oh, children, bend your knees, bow your head, pray for peace.
There ain't no other way to say it. Let's get down to the rat killing. We have got a lot to get to in one itty-bitty little hour.
Yeah, Marty tried to talk me into going on for 2 hours, but I think that would have been, possibly involved rioting.
Yeah.
If people had to listen to us for that long.
Murders, suicides.
It could be bad.
Yeah. Well, we'll just go with what we know anyway. It's all right. All right. Right off the bat, I'd like to say I was going to be surprised that, October's not over yet. Somebody's going to try something stupid. Well, leave it to Donald Trump and Gloria Allred to save the day. They saved the day with their stupidity.
If it wasn't, let's face it, man, if it wasn't for people like them, you and I wouldn't have nothing to do on Tuesday and Thursday nights.
Well, I don't know, man. I think we might have. I think we might have could have found something a little better than this little debacle. I mean, Donald was not going to be, left out. He's going to try to counter with his little surprise, which just really turned out to be him offering $5 million for Obama to allow his college transcripts and passport information to be released. Big whoop. Now, he doesn't expect them to take him up on it. He knows he's not going to take him up on it, but I like the idea that the offer's out there.
Now, let me ask you this. All right. We know what Donald's doing.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get to what Gloria Allred is up to here in just a minute.
Yeah.
But, while we're at this, do you think that on the other side of the aisle, meaning the liberals, the progressives, do you think that they just groan over the antics of Gloria Allred on their side in the way that we do over Donald Trump? I don't see it if they do.
Well, man, that's a good question. I don't know. I know that Gloria met with Obama a couple of weeks before she made her announcement that she was going to be making an announcement. And she says that President Obama says she's one of the brightest legal minds of her time. And, the president hasn't disputed that. I don't think that they roll their eyes so much as we do about Donald, because those people are so freaking united. It's downright scary. I mean, we conservatives will fight amongst ourselves, because if we think somebody's, getting a little bit too uppity, well, we're not afraid to call them out on something. On the liberal side of the fence,
there's times where we are. I mean, look at it's only here recently that enough Tea Party folks have kind of come into the fold to start giving people like John Boehner.
I said conservatives.
Oh, yeah, okay, gotcha.
I didn't say Republicans. Conservatives. We all know that the House and the Senate is full of people who are Republican but not conservative. So
hacks.
Yeah.
Hacks.
Yeah. But for instance, just this week, Ann Coulter called the president a retard, and Michelle Malkin took offense to that and more or less called her out as well. On the conservative side of the fence, you do see a lot more self-policing, calling each other out. Like when that, I'm not going to call him a retard, but when that Botard, congressman, senator, whatever he was, made that stupid rape comment, conservatives all across the board were going, oh, jeez, are you serious? For real? Come on, man. No. And this guy talking about it being God's plan or whatever it was, I didn't even see his comment.
That was one that I immediately, I tuned out, because those people don't represent me.
No, they don't. That's just it. And, there's idiots on both sides, but I don't think that the liberal media so much looks at Gloria Allred with an eye roll. I think they more look at her and get giddy because they know she's going to have some really good trash.
Except it wasn't really good, was it?
No, it really.
Tell us what has transpired on the Gloria Allred front here in the last couple of days.
Well, she, a couple of weeks ago, Matt Drudge called it. Well, maybe more than a couple of weeks ago, Matt Drudge called it and said Gloria Allred's about to drop a bomb. Just wait. Sure enough, a week goes by, and Gloria says, yeah, I've got an announcement that I'm going to make. That means she's representing a client of sorts. Her client is the ex-wife of one of the founders of Staples, who also is a close personal friend of Mitt Romney's. Well, the Boston Globe, she went to the Boston Globe, her and this author that wrote a book about this broad, they went to the Boston Globe and said, look, there's some juicy stuff in these divorce proceedings, about Mitt Romney. We think he committed perjury on the stand and lied about Staples' worth just so he could screw this guy's wife or ex-wife out of more money. As in, he undervalued the stock on the witness stand, because that was the only reason for Mitt Romney to testify in these people's divorce proceedings.
It was about the value of the stock.
And, Mitt Romney was, the man there at Bain Capital, and, they were the ones that were trying to bring Staples along. At the time, he would know. I mean, if Mitt Romney knows anything, he knows numbers. And he wasn't going to perjure himself. I mean, give me a break. Well, anyway, the Boston Globe wanted these transcripts. The problem with it is there is a gag order that was put out by the court. I mean, and it's a strong one, boy. Goodness gracious. That thing, can't nobody say nothing about this divorce. Not to the press, not to their friends.
You're talking
nobody.
About the people involved.
The people involved. That means if they testified on the witness stand, or their name was on the court documents, or if you was in the docket, or out in the galley or whatever, you shut up. Jurors, everybody. Nobody can say nothing. And here's the thing now. That was mutually agreed upon in the divorce settlement. Okay? You understand that, what I just said there? Mutually agreed upon. Her lawyers agreed to it. His lawyers agreed to it. So now she wants to go to the Boston Globe like way over a decade later and say, ooh, Mitt's running for the presidency, and I can't stand Mitt because I'd have way more millions than I have now if he hadn't testified in court against me. Well, it turned out that the judge in this case said, okay, Mitt Romney, do you have any objections to them seeing these transcripts? And Mitt Romney's lawyer said, nope. And they said, Staples, do you have any objections to seeing these transcripts? And Staples said, what, seeing that part of the transcripts? No, fine with us. So then he looked at Mr. Staples' lawyer and said, do you have any objections? And he said, no, not to the transcripts. Nope, no objections. And that's when Gloria Allred said, and we can talk to the press, right? And that's when things got a little bit squirrely. And
the judge said,
nope.
No, that ain't what that means.
No. Because, see, here's what really made Gloria Allred look like a complete idiot. See, the Boston Globe did put like a part 2 on their petition to the court to be able to speak with the woman about it, But they withdrew that before they got into court today. And the judge even asked the lawyer for the Boston Globe, are you sure you want to amend your petition to exclude part 2? And the guy said, that's right. Which kind of puzzles me a little bit. I'm not really sure why the Boston Globe, when they had a pretty juicy story on their hand there, that they passed on it. They were comfortable with the transcripts only. So Gloria Allred standing in there in front of the judge with her mouth hanging open like, what?
Look, maybe the Globe is burning Gloria Allred in this.
Oh, they burned her all right, dude.
For reasons of their own.
In the press conference after the court hearing, Gloria Allred just slammed them, man. She said that was, she more or less said they was some punks for what they did, that they reneged on this thing.
They
somehow.
did it because, I'll tell you, I don't know what the lawyers told them, but they reneged on it because of something that they were told. either by their lawyers, or they found out something that could possibly be in the testimony that would really make the whole thing.
Well, it's not over.
Teapot.
It's not over. I mean, now Gloria got deflated big time today, big time, because the judge made it abundantly clear before she adjourned for the day. Nobody better say nothing. Because Gloria Allred was like, well, fine then. I want to petition the court. And this is where she got her comeuppance. She was like, I want to petition the court at this time. Or can we confer with a Boston Globe lawyer and get him to file for it right now? And that lawyer or the judge was like, no. See, I'm going to rule on what I was asked to rule on today. What you're proposing is a completely separate matter. So what you're going to have to do is go back and refile, and then we'll have to come before me. However, if you're asking for permission for, to speak to the press and all that, I'm sure these other attorneys here would have some objection to that, and they were like in unison on that one. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time. And rightfully so. Their position was, look, this is what we showed up today prepared to defend, or not defend, as the case may be. What she's asking for is a completely separate issue, which would require us to have more time to prepare. I think that's fair, and so did the judge. The judge was like, you're darn tootin'. No, Miss Allred, you're not going to get to do that. And she would ask for clarification. Tina, how many times did she ask for clarification from the judge? Like 8 or 9 times at least? And you could see the people in the galley, like the other members of the press.
Hey,
now,
man.
That's where they got an eye roll.
Hey, man.
Huh?
Squirrel.
Oh, sorry. It was an awesome courtroom proceeding.
But see, now you're talking about the one of the secret weapon, the October surprise, not going the way the left would like to see it go. That's why I'm distracting you, because we can't.
But the right didn't get theirs either. So Donald's was kind of flat. I'm not going to say what it was on the air, but Stephen Colbert made a counter offer to Donald Trump that kind of made me pee in my pants a little bit when I saw it. So, and I think his was the best one. That being said, there's more, you guys.
There's more.
There's so
much more.
There's so much more. Moving on to a completely different matter, which may turn out to be a surprise of its own. And this is a surprise that, man, nobody on Mitt Romney's team could have planned this. And apparently no one on Obama's side prepared for it either.
Apparently not.
Benghazi Gate, man. And I hate to be cheesy and call it Benghazi Gate, but man, this is, if things really are the way they're lining up to be, there is potential treason happening here. And let me explain. Everybody knows what happened in Benghazi, for the most part. I don't think that everybody knows that our Ambassador Stevens was also, the autopsy has revealed that he was sodomized. His corpse was, anyway. That added to, tack that on to the murder, all right? Because that's what this was. This was an act of terrorism. This was murder, cold-blooded murder, as well as, desecrating a human body. This is going to fall smack dab in the president's lap, because we now know that there were many cables sent from the embassy in Benghazi that day. The night before, we know, because we have the cables now, from Ambassador Stevens saying, hey, guess what? Somebody's watching us. We really need some more security. These guys walking around with flashlights and tasers ain't going to cut it. Please send more security. Now,
and they listened to him, but they,
well, you know, it's funny that their initial position now, or up to this point, has been we didn't know. Remember, Biden said they didn't know. The president said they didn't know. Hillary said nobody knew. Come to find out, these cables, you know, when they send one, it lists where all it goes, all the different, you know, locations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it went right to the White House and to the Situation Room in the White House. Went straight to Hillary Clinton. Can you believe that?
Right to her.
Right to him, man. And now here's something else that we know now. We also know now that on the day of the attack, when they actually sent that first cable that says the embassy's on... Wait. Scratch that. Let me back up. We also know that it is a fact that one of Turkey's high muckety-mucks was meeting with Ambassador Stevens. That's when Ambassador Stevens sent another cable that said, our exits are being watched. Now, this guy that was a representative from Turkey, guess who he has ties to? And I mean direct ties to. Answer al-Sharia, who happens to be the people that attacked the embassy. And we know that now to be fact because they admit it. They said that was us. When they were attacking, they were putting it on Twitter and Facebook. Now, Hillary says that's not evidence in and of itself. Oddly enough, a YouTube video was evidence in and of itself to them, apparently. You know, it's
all
different
because of that video.
That's right. It was. We now know that social media, according to Hillary Clinton, social media cannot be counted on as evidence unless, of course, that social media happens to be YouTube. Then it's evidence, even though only up to that point, only 3 people had ever watched the blasted thing. That was evidence. Now, moving forward, things that we now know. The embassy has been attacked. You know when it was attacked? 1 hour after that Turkish ambassador left. The Turkish ambassador that has ties to al-Sharia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As soon as he was clear.
When he was gone, embassy is attacked. Now, they send a cable. We are under attack. The ambassador is going to have to move to the safe house. Now, we also now know that safe house that the ambassador went to was not an embassy safe house. It was a CIA safe house. He sends a cable saying we're under attack. A drone was sent to fly over.
Are you saying that when you say they send a drone over, see, that means that the intelligence that the State Department was getting
it was being
real-time data.
Piped directly to the Situation Room. Now, the president makes a big deal of saying that he was there at the White House, that he wasn't out trying to campaign during all of this, which would put him then in the White House Situation Room. Which means that while these people were being killed, they were watching in real time. We also now know that at the time they were being attacked and the drone was doing a flyover, that military bases in 4 different places, one as close as 420 miles away, were put on alert, but then stood down. Which means that somebody had to tell them to stand down. Right? I mean, am I off the mark yet?
No, because I don't think you stand when you've been ordered to alert. You don't stand down until somebody orders you to stand down.
Now, we also know that the 2 guys who were former Navy SEALs that were there helping to defend our ambassador, we know that they were also there tracking some shoulder-fired missiles. Right?
Right.
And we also now know that we're missing a lot of missiles that we had armed those Libyan rebels with that actually turned out to be Ansar al-Sharia.
Mm-hmm.
You know who gave them those weapons by any chance?
The State Department.
Well, actually, the president did. You remember?
Yeah.
Because he didn't go to Congress and get permission to do military action of any kind in Libya.
Oh, that's...
Remember he used his executive authority there.
Yeah.
And he armed the rebels. Remember, in these debates, he took credit for that. I armed the rebels. Remember, he said that. Okay. Those rebels that he armed, that we now know to have been Ansar al-Sharia, who, coincidentally enough, have ties to the Muslim Brotherhood, who brokered the deal
through Al-Qaeda.
Uh-huh. Now, if you just want to get technical about it,
on September 11th,
what that amounts to is the President of the United States provided aid and material to our enemy. The word for that is treason. Particularly when you combine that with the 4 deaths and the 1 desecration of a U.S. ambassador. And don't forget, just because this guy's an ambassador, that doesn't make him a lowly anything. An ambassador to a country is the highest ranking American in that country. If anything is done in regard to any American in that country, it has to go through him. If anyone from our country wishes to do anything in that country, it has to go through him. This is not a low-level civil servant here. You know, sometimes we get caught up in the language calling him a diplomat, you know. Well, that's a pretty big diplomat.
Yeah, but see, what is done to an ambassador of the United States is done to the United States.
On our soil. That CIA safe house that was inside that embassy compound was on American soil. So we suffered yet again, if you just want to get down to it, a terror attack on American soil. And the capper is that some of those shoulder-fired missiles that was fired into that compound was given to them by the President of the United States. Now, that ain't even conspiracy theory.
But now, wait.
That's things that, those are all facts.
Look, it has to be conspiracy theory. Because I didn't see nothing about that. Brian Williams didn't say nothing about that tonight.
You know how much time they gave to this story last night? NBC. You know how much time they gave to it?
Did they give any time?
34 seconds. A grand total of, what was it, Tina? 3 minutes and 34 seconds last night? Or 5 minutes total. And four different networks. 5 minutes total. What in the world are these people covering? Oh, yeah, they were talking about Snooky, man. They talked more about Snooky than they did the death of one of our ambassadors.
Because Snooky's a squirrel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, when things start getting too serious, when things start making Obama look bad, hey, let's talk about Snooky. Oh, doesn't she have just an adorable baby? You know,
this is embarrassing.
Meantime, the president, whether he's ever tried for treason or not, at the very least, he failed in his first responsibility. You know, the one that he kept saying over and over in the debates was his number one priority? The security of the country.
The nation.
Security
Me.
of Americans on American soil. That's his number one priority. That is the number one priority of every president of the United States. That's their job. That's job one. They have to keep us safe.
And to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America.
Well,
which means not giving aid and comfort to the enemy.
Now, you want to start talking about the Constitution and stuff. Now, come on. Obama's a constitutional scholar. Remember that?
Yeah. If you want to get down to it, so was Benjamin Arnold. I mean, so was Benedict Arnold. Well, I mean, he was there for most of it, so
he was, plotting to.
These people, the cuckoos out there, the conspiracy theorists, went nuts about the original September the 11th and found all these weird ways to try to twist it to make it look like George Bush had something to do with the Twin Towers getting hit by them airplanes. And, I mean, they didn't even bother with facts. They didn't let facts get in the way of a good story. Those conspiracy theorists, boy, they really had to work hard to get those conspiracies to make the ends meet.
Yeah,
this here
airplanes.
This here
planes. Those were missiles.
Man, yeah, right. This little debacle here, what happened in Benghazi, man, then nobody's got to make up a thing. Everything is there on paper. Each of those facts, in and of themselves, taken individually, are startling enough. But then when you take them and put them in a timeline, and you realize that these people were watching for 2 hours while these men were burning up in this compound, and the other two guys, the two former SEALs, were the last to go. They still fought on. You know how they know? Because they got it on tape, man. They had a special, like the military equivalent of like a special response team. In Sigonella, Italy, 420 miles away, by chopper. They could have gotten there and at least got the 2 security guys out. Those guys, we know for a fact, they would have had time to save them. And they were ready. They were locked and loaded and ready to go. They were sitting on the dad-blasted helicopter, man. Why were they not sent? And why is this not some sort of October surprise to anybody? Mainly because nobody knows. And nobody knows because the mainstream press don't want to touch it. You know how we know about this stuff? New media.
We get our news off the internet.
Well, not just that. The new media was on top of it. You know, the just bloggers?
Yeah.
You know, just bloggers these days got just as much pull in some instances as some of these mainstream journalists. People like Michelle Malkin. Oh, you don't think she's got sources inside the White House that'll talk to her? Or sources inside, the beltway there, period, that'll talk to her? You better believe it, Jack. Donald Trump tried to throw some sort of disrespect towards Michelle Malkin today, as a matter of fact. And she had to put the little pimp hand down on the Donald and remind him, hey, man, I've been doing this for 20 years. For the conservative movement, for 20 years. You were Obama's biggest cheerleader back in 2008. Crickets, 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 crickets.
Yeah. Squirrel.
Yeah. See, but that's what we get to talk about. That's what's on the mainstream press. Now, they covered the Donald and they covered Gloria Allred, but they did not cover what happened in Benghazi. Things that are out in the open, man. Even the New York Times had to say something about it.
No. It finally percolated to the New York Times?
Oh, yeah. Man, these emails and these cables are there. And, like, if you're listening to some of the liberal, say, MSNBC or Fox's Bob Beckel, they're like, well, those cables are, anybody could have looked at them. I mean, you know how many people they went to? And all I can think is, dude, that's the point. With all these people that are seeing this thing, nobody could do anything? Well, what the hell are you sending them emails for, man? And this isn't stuff that's been, like, classified documents that's got leaked, like, through WikiLeaks. No, dude. These things on the bottom say SBU. Sensitive but unclassified. Now, that word sensitive means it's supposed to go in somebody's inbox immediatamente. Like the important people.
If they were watching it happen live via a drone, this has to go all the way up to the top.
This is either utter incompetence or treason.
Possibly both.
One way or another, everybody, and I mean everybody, needs to be fired. Everybody involved. Petraeus, Panetta, all of them. Hillary.
It's ever on the Joint Chiefs.
This is an embarrassment. Al-Qaeda just pulled our britches down and spanked our behinds in front of the world. And all we can do is stand here and scratch our heads and say, well, we don't really know what happened. The hell we don't. We know exactly what happened. It's you guys that seem to be living in this little wonderland. Hillary's, Ed Klein, that writes for the Daily Caller, said he has two sources inside the White House that are very closely involved with this, that say Hillary tried everything she could to get those people some help, but was shut down. And he asked a very poignant question. Who exactly has the authority to shut down the Secretary of State, the United States of America?
Let's see. In her chain of command, she reports to how many people? Let's see. One.
Not even the SecDef can overrule her, man. So you tell me. Was it Smoking Joe who didn't know that shut her down? Or was it Barack that couldn't be bothered to be in any of his security briefings, who thought they was just crying because things was getting hot? I mean, after all, he did make a point of saying those people know they're in danger over there because they're in danger all the time. We've got embassy. You know how many people that we've got in our that make up our embassy staff? 60,000.
Yeah, so since they know they're going into a dangerous place, therefore we don't have to give them any backup.
We owe them nothing
because they know that it's going to be a dangerous assignment. Therefore, we just have no obligation to provide security for people like that know that they're going into a dangerous spot. What?
I'm telling you, man. If everything is on the up and up, that has just come out already, that's public record, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
If just that stuff is true, if everything is true and everything falls into line on a timeline, and not just going back to September the 11th, but even going back as far as the Egyptian or the Arab Spring there, what broke off in Egypt last year. Because when you start getting in this, Barack Obama endorsing this Morsi guy in Egypt, who is the head of the Muslim Brotherhood, who has ties, open ties. See, up until that guy got elected president, these guys were on a terror watch list. We weren't supposed to do any kind of business with them. Why? Because they've got open ties to Al-Qaeda and Hezbollah and Hamas. We weren't supposed to have any contact with these people. They've been to the White House 34 times since 2010. Public record. So they've got these known ties with Al-Qaeda, who has this little offshoot group over there in Libya called the Answer al-Sharia. And they don't like Gaddafi any more than anybody else does. And if they can get this dude up out of there, then Al-Qaeda can have a foothold in Libya. But the problem is that they ain't got no weapons to fight. And if they let people know that they have ties to Al-Qaeda, well, then nobody's going to help them.
Unless they go see Barack.
Well, it's better than that. See, what they'd have to do is know that the Muslim Brotherhood has ties to Barack. Because, see, once they became in power there in Egypt, Barack Obama went and made a big deal. He made a speech about how the Muslim Brotherhood was what? Largely secular.
Largely secular.
That's right. That's why they were taken off of the terror watch list. He had to clarify that. All right, so these Al-Sharia guys go to the Brotherhood folks and say, hey, if you tell them we're just a bunch of lowly rebels out here, maybe they'll arm us like they did the Contras. Sound familiar?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Now, here's what I remember. I remember that when George Bush Sr., when it was found out that he had anything to do with the Iran-Contra deal, since he was still in office, Ollie North fell on his sword and said, I did it. It's all my fault. And George didn't have nothing to do with it. Ollie looked good in that. To a lot of this country, Ollie North is a national hero because we all know.
He took the hit for the team.
He took the hit. That's right. And if he ever wanted to get into politics, he could. He could. He's declined. He doesn't want to run. But he could, because to a great portion of this country, man, he's just one of the poor bastard. He took a hit for his boss, who, by the way, before he was president, was also the head of the CIA at one time. So, the boys from Langley stick together. He took a hit for the team. Now, Hillary has said it rests all on her. Now, Ed Klein also says that his sources say Bill is like going cuckoo because he is begging Hillary, will you please tell what you know? But she won't do that. She's willing to take this hit and let it fall on her for a security lapse. And then after the election, you mark my words, after this election, probably after, if Mitt Romney wins, it'll be February, March, sometime around in there. All of this stuff will come out, and there will be some subpoenas. And some people won't be allowed to claim executive privilege there. I'm telling you, this stuff is all going to it's going to become so the mainstream press has no choice. Like if you go to Breitbart.com, there's a story on there about CBS busting themselves out in the process of trying to bust out the president on this. CBS has that 60 Minutes footage that they didn't air.
That's right.
Where the president's more or less admitting what he knew and when he knew it. So in order to bust the president out, they had to bust themselves out in the process because they sat on it for the president. But now that all this other stuff is leaked out, CBS had no choice So what they did was say, well, look, we got this footage that we didn't air. See, we're trying to do the right thing here.
Ha ha.
They were the ones that had the most time for the story, and it was 3 minutes and something.
Well, I just want to point out here that in all this gotcha, let's not lose sight of the fact that the families of these folks, they deserve to know the truth, as horrible as it is.
That's right.
They deserve to know the truth, and they deserve to see some measure of justice being done.
And you know what else they deserve? A little coverage in the media. Don't you think?
Well, I honestly, I think that the families don't want, because I'm speaking from just a little bit of personal experience here. Families may not want, in situations like that, I don't think the families want the cameras turned on them.
Actually, the families of the former SEALs, they're calling for it.
Well,
they want somebody to talk to them, because this one of the guys, Daddy, met with the president, and he's more disgusted now than he was before.
Well, what I'm saying is, I think that they would really like to see the cameras focused on the folks who are responsible.
Well, that's true. And
I mean, I really think that if that were happening, they wouldn't have any desire at all to have the cameras turned upon themselves. I'll promise you that.
And here's another little known tidbit. They actually have somebody in custody for this thing in Jordan. And you know who is being denied access to this cat? The United States.
Uh-huh.
Now, where's the press on that? And why is the president not screaming on this campaign trail when he's got all these microphones in his face and cameras? Why isn't he sending a message to those people, we're on our way? You better hold him there. They don't want us to talk to him. Why is that?
Oh, there could be a lot of reasons for that.
And why?
None of them bode any good for the United States.
I mean, we've asked a lot of really good questions here tonight. And why is us just bloggers the ones asking these questions?
Because of squirrels?
Squirrels.
They're
That's
everywhere.
Right. That's right. And we ain't got much time left, and I almost didn't have time to get out the other little tidbit that the mainstream press isn't wanting to talk about. See, we ain't the only ones torqued off at Obama. Them folks at GM, you know how he keeps talking about how much he saved the auto industry. You remember during the debates, man?
Saved the auto, turned around.
Created jobs there, boy.
Yeah,
He did. Well, there's some folks that would beg to differ with El Jefe on that one. A lot of the, apparently when Obama said he was going to take care of them folks' pensions, what he meant was he was going to take care of the union's pensions. And the non-union workers out at General Motors, their pensions are like really in like some serious jeopardy here. And these folks are hopping mad. Just check out this little audio tidbit here.
Pension protection is something that we have to put at the top of our priority list.
A disturbing new investigation suggests the Obama administration may have sacrificed benefits for some 20,000 non-union retirees to save the pensions of union employees.
Delphi and the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation were forced to terminate Delphi's pension plans, which means that there are Delphi retirees who unfortunately will collect less than their full pension benefits.
If you work hard and play by the rules, then you've earned your pension.
The president was concerned about the unions, and he discounted the salaried workforce.
I'd like to know why the salaried employees got chopped up so badly. It doesn't seem fair.
Bankruptcy laws are more focused on protecting banks than protecting pensions, and I don't think that's fair.
As a non-union employee of Delphi, I lost 33% of my pension, my medical benefits, and my life insurance.
As a result of the Obama administration's actions in the takeover of General Motors, I lost my pension, my health care, and my life insurance.
General Motors is alive!
GM may be alive, but I'm struggling.
GM may be alive, but I personally am hurting.
Pension protection is something that we have to put at the top of our priority list.
Yeah, good job there, Mr. President. Those folks sounded freaking thrilled. Now, let it be known, the union workers are just fine. They're doing okay.
So there's nothing here for us to really worry about then, because the union employees of GM were taken care of. Well, that's good. I'll sleep a whole lot better knowing that those union folks are nice and comfortable. Yeah, that's just dandy.
And there's people out there, man, that are still undecided.
Yeah.
What is it going to take? I mean, really. I'm almost accustomed to the liberals and progressives and Democrats, with their, no, it's not raining outside mentality. It's not daytime. I'm almost used to it. But there comes a point where when you have undisputable evidence in your face, like there's a big sun up there, or there's water coming from clouds in the sky. In this case, like tonight, we see there are certain facts that under any other circumstances in any other administration could not be ignored. Yet today, we found a way. Casey and I are glad to report on things like this and talk about these things. But to be honest, man, we shouldn't have to.
Well,
we should be able to do other things.
Should be doing their jobs, man. They should be out there reporting on everything that happens, not all the things that are going to make the Obama administration look good.
I want to go back to doing comedy. I really do. But part of the reason that Casey and I decided that we couldn't do comedy anymore is because we figured out that the mainstream press they're not reporting on anything. Fluff. Feel-good pieces. And most importantly, they're in the tank for one particular candidate for president. Never before. Yeah. Have you ever heard of a press being in the tank for a president? I mean, they even gave Bill Clinton more hell than they're giving Barack Obama.
Hell, they even gave John Kennedy a rougher time.
What is going on? I mean, really, are we in upside down land now? Have we went into that Superman thing, like that bizarro world where night was day and day was night and hello was goodbye and all that? I mean, if we are, just tell me and I can make the proper adjustments. But you got to be kidding me. If you can honestly think that, like, issues by themselves, like abortion, or women's contraception, or Medicare, or veterans benefits, whatever they are, if you think any one of those single issues, education, healthcare, whatever, if you think that if we elect Mitt Romney, well, then he's not going to give any money to the arts. If that's your concern, if that's what's keeping you from voting for at least to vote this current guy out of office, man, what's wrong with you? There's so many bigger things at stake here. See, all of those issues in and of themselves, they are important. If you're worried about is Mitt Romney going to be friendlier to gay people than Barack Obama, what the hell is wrong with you? That's what you're worried about? Or, oh, if Mitt's elected, they're going to cut off my food stamps. Are you serious? So you want to vote for a man that would knowingly sit and watch an American ambassador die? A man who would knowingly make sure that non-union workers get screwed out of a pension that they worked 20 years to put into. If you'd willingly vote for a man that would stand in front of a camera and lie, just lie about the deaths of 4 Americans, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, where are your priorities?
It ain't hate where this comes from. It's fear. I fear for my country. I fear for my fellow man.
I fear for my fellow man and woman when all they can think about is their vagina.
A campaign that says vote with your lady parts.
Yeah.
That's an honest to God.
That slams the other side for misogyny.
Yeah. That's an honest to God campaign.
Exploit women and their fears than any other campaign in the history of the civilized world. The campaign who supports regimes like the one in Egypt that would want Sharia law.
You know, man,
they want to see Sharia law practiced here in the United States. Do all you women out there who are thinking with your vagina, do you like the thought of wearing a burqa? Do you like the thought of being property?
Not being able to leave the house without your husband or without a man? You know, dude, the Des Moines Register, the newspaper there in Iowa, their front page today summed up this campaign and this president perfectly. There's 2 side-by-side pictures of the candidates there. Under Obama's, it says, Obama sharpens criticism. Under Romney, it says, Romney expresses optimism. Mitt Romney is on the campaign trail telling those crowds, which, by the way, he had a crowd so big in Colorado this week that they had to turn over 1,000 of them away. There were tens of thousands of people that came out to a rally in Colorado.
Boy, did you see the pictures of Red Rock?
Oh, my God, yes.
The size of the Red Rock was full.
It was a sea of people, man. It looked like a freaking rock concert there for Mitt Romney.
For a presidential campaign.
Yeah, it looked like one of Barack's old crowds is what it looked like, man.
Well, it's things like that give me a little hope for the country, in that there's that many people willing to come out and participate in the politics.
You know, in his rallies, he's telling people, we can get out of this. We're down right now, but we're not out. We can dig ourselves out of this. It's not going to be as hard as everyone is making it out to be. He's optimistic about things. And when you listen to the president's speeches, it's my opponent says, my opponent did this. My opponent said that. Mitt Romney's at least, everybody says, well, he's not being specific. Well, he's being about as specific as Barack was when he was running for president. Barack's got this little booklet he's put out. It's called his plan, It's like 19 pages of my opponent says, even people on MSNBC are looking at this book and laughing and going, I thought this was the plan. This is not. Where's the plan? There's nothing in there.
Well, yes, there are. Now, look, if you were to cut out some of those photos, they're suitable for framing. All pictures of Barack.
Well, that's true.
Glossy, shiny pictures of Barack.
That's true.
I mean, so don't talk about it having nothing in there.
Well, I'm sorry. I misspoke. I understand it would also make for some good toilet paper if you get it.
That glossy paper never really.
Well, I mean, if you get in a tight, because Brazil's having a toilet paper shortage right now, and it's only a matter of time before it spreads to us too. So, just saying. But you see the difference in these. Barack on the stump this week, he was like, just compare and contrast. I agree. I agree. So we can have 4 more years of it ain't my fault, and I don't know, and I didn't know. Or we can try something else. I mean, that was Obama's whole campaign back in 2008. We got to try something else.
I can't handle 4 more years of, let me be clear.
Yeah, I'm not a criminal.
Let me be clear.
I think we've got a pretty easy choice this election, and it's going to come down. It's going to be close, man. It's not. I don't think it's going to be like a close popular vote, but it's going to be really tight in the Electoral College. And I would kind of like to see happen. I would like to see Mitt Romney not only win, but I would like to see him win the Electoral College and win all the votes he needs and not win Ohio. I would like to see him just clean up in the rest of them blasted swing states and take Ohio off the playlist. Just take them out. Just, those people up there.
The thing is, I think that Romney may pick up some rather unexpected electoral votes.
I would love for him to win in Ohio. I would love that.
Well, I'm not talking about Ohio. I'm talking about some of those that seem like they're solidly in Obama's tank.
Well, like Iowa, for instance, who we were just talking about. In 2008, they were, all the way for Obama. And up until the last month or so? Up until this month.
Yeah, they were a gimme.
Yeah, they on all of the electoral maps, they were blue. Now they're firmly I ain't going to say firmly, but there's a really good chance that Iowa's going to go to Romney, and North Carolina's going to go to Romney. Virginia's more than likely going to go to Romney.
Michigan right now is dead even.
Dead even in Michigan, of all places.
Yep.
I've heard some of the people who are pretty smart, knowledgeable about this stuff, saying Wisconsin's going to go to Obama. I don't think so. I think Romney's actually going to pick up Wisconsin. I think Nevada, he may lose in Nevada, but I think he's going to win Colorado, man. I really do. Because the president has been to Colorado as well. Correct?
Yes, he has. But, strangely enough, his crowds haven't been quite as big and definitely not as enthusiastic.
No, they were still out hawking people to come see the man speak. And they're having to turn them away from Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney's giving speeches in a place like Colorado, which, man, if you live in Colorado, that's a blue state. I mean, that's like a hippie's paradise there.
Because all the cities go blue.
But you know what else is a lot of in Colorado? Money.
Yeah, a lot of money, yeah.
A lot of people making over that threshold, what's going to get, get taken.
There's also, people forget about the eastern half of the state, which is rural.
Mm-hmm.
The whole all of eastern Colorado, it's rural. It's full of farmers.
Colorado's bigger than Denver and Boulder. Did you know that?
I thought that there were more places than Denver and Boulder in Colorado.
I think the president's got them confused, like he did back when he said there's 57 states.
Mm-hmm.
And why ain't the media jumping on him for saying he ain't good at better than 7th grade math? I mean, he said that on Leno, man. If Mitt Romney or George Bush, oh God,
anything like that, oh my Lord.
Saturday Night would have a parody of it. Saturday Night Live. It'd be, I guarantee you, they would use that every week on Saturday Night Live. They'd still be using it on Saturday Night Live. But what are we going to do when they're in the tank for the guy?
I don't know, but look at the time.
I know it. Time flies when we're on a roll. But thanks everybody that for coming out and listening to us. Don't forget, if you're not listening to us on honestanswerradio.com, feel free to drop by the website and take a look around. Go to the sponsors page, take a look around. Big thank you to Spreaker.com. I love Spreaker. I am now a Spreaker.com fan. Go there. There's lots of other radio shows on there to listen to.
Yeah, and there's some really, really good stuff. There's actually quite a bit of talent on on Spreaker.com.
And it's new media. I mean, don't ever pass up a chance to support new media, because, quite frankly, we're the only ones that's going to give you any kind of real news. The rest of it's just fluff. That's one thing. We don't do fluff. Not very good at it, to be honest. All right, man, you got anything else?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, until Tuesday, I guess, we're out of here. See y'all.
Night, y'all.